Vedanta Swaminiti Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Punavadi Aśvatthāmā. Hare Krishna. Today is also the disappearance of Srila Loknath Goswami, who is the spiritual master of Srila Narottam Das Thakur. Srila Narottam Das Thakur has composed a pranam mantra in glorification of Srila Loknath Goswami. I was not able to recite that in the morning, but I want to recite it now. Very, very extraordinary. Of course, Narottam Das Thakur is such a great acharya. Whatever he composes is perfect. So for Srila Loknath Goswami, he says, Śrīmad-Radha Vinodeka Seva Sampat Samanvitam. We see the life, as we were discussing in the morning, that the entire life, while he was in Braj, the Loknath Goswami was deeply absorbed. Śrīmad Radha Vinodeka, exclusively in the service of Shri Radha Vinod. Seva Sampat Samanvitam. The service towards their Lordship, he was completely immersed, absorbed. And his Padmanabha Atmajam is the son of Sri Padmanabh Chakravarti, Srimal Loknatha Prabhum Devi. So I worship such a personality as Sri Loknath Goswami. I worship the lotus feet of Sri Loknath Goswami, who is the son of Padmanabh Chakravarti. He is the storehouse of single-minded service to the lotus feet of Sri Radha Vinod. I've discussed that in the morning, and we will continue with our study of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. We are currently now in the 8th chapter of the first canto, which is entitled The Prayers of Kunti Devi. We covered how many? 12? From today we have to start from 13. Pradeep Prabhu?
13.
13 or 14?
13.
13. So in this section we see initially that how much lamentation is there in the heart of the Pandavas, specifically in the heart of Yudhishthira Maharaj. And they perform the last rites of those who passed away walking up to the Ganges. And then we see how Yudhishthira Maharaj's glory is being sung, is being appreciated by none other than the Supreme Lord Krishna himself. And then there is three horse sacrifices. Right? 3 horse sacrifices which are performed on the recommendation of Lord Krishna, Aśvatthāmā, so that the fame of Yudhishthira Maharaj can spread even more wide and high than the Indradev, than the king of the demigods. But also we saw that Aśvatthāmā, he does not change. In spite of committing such a abominable, heinous act, where he was pardoned by the Pandavas, again he tries to backstab them by trying to secretly release multiple Astra-shastras now, the brahmāstra, trying to kill all the 5 Pandavas and also the heir to the Pandavas, the child which was in the womb of Uttara Devi. And Uttara Devi, we see a chaste lady, a dedicated devotee of the Lord. She cries out for help from Lord Krishna. Very beautiful verse. Anyone who has memorized this prayer of Uttara Devi? I said this is a verse to memorize. Did anyone try? Both should be memorized. The one that was offered by Arjuna in the last chapter, when the brahmāstra was released, and now also from the 8th chapter. Here, henceforth, all the verses are to be memorized. I don't have to specifically tell you, but most of the verses are the verses to be memorized. All the prayers of Kunti Devi, many devotees have memorized, and they have integrated it daily in their prayers to their lordships. This is how, that is the purpose of our study of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. Otherwise, the very easy way of applying Bhagavatam is at least integrate the prayers. Pahi pahi mahayogins, deva deva jagatpate, na anyam tvad abhyam pashe, yatra mrityu paraspara. And Lord Krishna, who is bhakta-vatsala, who never fails in his affection for his devotee, he immediately understood that this is the cowardly act of the betrayer Aśvatthāmā, and he takes a vow to protect the Pandavas, including the child of Uttara, which is inside the embryo. So we go forward from the 13th verse. O foremost among the great thinkers, Munis, Saunaka, seeing the glaring Brahmas proceeding toward them, the Pandavas took up their 5 respective weapons. Then the Pandavas also, they did not say, oh, Krishna is there with us. It is his duty to protect. And what we will do nothing. No, not like that. So they also took the countermeasure. They took up their weapons. The brahmāstra are finer than the nuclear weapon. Aśvatthāmā discharged the brahmāstra simply to kill the Pandavas, namely the 5 brothers headed by Yudhishthira Maharaj and their only grandson who was lying within the womb of Uttara. Therefore, the brahmāstra, more effective and finer than the atomic weapon, was not as blind as the atomic bombs. When the atomic bombs are discharged, they do not discriminate between the target and others. Mainly, the atomic bombs do harm to the innocent because there is no control. The brahmāstra is not like that. It marks out the target and proceeds accordingly without harming the innocent, and it does not spare the target. It does not come back before it kills the target. So this is a very lethal weapon. Vyasanam vīkṣya teṣām ananya-viṣayātmanām sudarśanena svāstreṇa svānām rakṣāṁ vyadhād vibhuḥ. Vyasanam vīkṣya teṣām. Krishna, he immediately saw the imminent danger. The Almighty Personality of Godhead, Śrī Kṛṣṇa, having observed that there was a great danger was befalling his unalloyed devotees, who were fully surrendered soul. Ananya-viṣayātmanām. This is what a devotees should be. That should be his aspiration. That he is ananya-viṣayātmanām. That he is not into any viṣaya. He is ananya. Ananya. Ananya means he is exclusively surrendered and dedicated. And so for such devotees who are fully surrendered, the Lord at once took up his Sudarśana disc to protect them. Sudarśanena sva-astreṇa. Sva-astreṇa means by his weapon, the weapon of his self, that is Sudarśana. And he took it up, svānām rakṣāṁ, to protect them. And who is the person? He is vibhuḥ. Jivas are anu, and the Supreme Lord is vibhuḥ, the Almighty. The brahmāstra, the supreme weapon released by Aśvatthāmā, was something similar to the nuclear weapon, but with more radiation and heat. The brahmāstra is the product of a more subtle science, being the product of a finer sound, a mantra recorded in the Vedas. Another advantage of this weapon is that it is not blind like the nuclear weapon, because it can be directed only to the target and nothing else. Aśvatthāmā released the weapon just to finish all the male members of the Pandu family. So this was his target. We had recited the mantras so that the weapon released would target only the male members of the Pandu family. Therefore, in one sense, it was more dangerous than the atomic bombs because it could penetrate even the most protected place and would never miss the target. Knowing all this, Lord Śrī Kṛṣṇa at once took up his personal weapon to protect his devotees, who did not know anyone else other than Krishna. In the Bhagavad-gītā, the Lord has clearly promised that his devotees are never to be vanquished. Kaunteya pratijanahi name bhaktya pranashyati. And he behaves according to the quality or degree of the devotional service rendered by the devotee. Here the word ananya-viṣayātmanām is significant. The Pandavas were 100% dependent on the protection of the Lord, although they were all great warriors themselves. But the Lord neglects even the greatest warriors and also vanquishes them in no time. What is the example? The Lord neglects the greatest warrior and also vanquishes them in no time. What is the example? How can we corroborate or support this statement of Srila Prabhupada? What example is there? Yes, Brother Prabhu.
Prabhuji, Duryodhana.
Duryodhana is not a great warrior. Why are you bringing him to this category of great warrior? He is an ordinary person. Yes, Ravinder?
Prabhuji, Hiranyakashipu.
Did you speak? I could not hear.
Hiranyakashipu, Prabhuji.
Okay. Hiranyakashipu. Why you have to go so far? You see from the Mahabharata itself. The example is there right in front of you. Bhishma Dev. Was there any warrior to the caliber and capacity of Bhishma Dev on either sides in the Mahabharata? What did Krishna do? Completely neglected him and got him killed. Why? Because he was siding with the adharma. He was siding with the Kauravas. So whoever he may be or whatever capacity or prowess he has, it is all useless. When the Lord saw that there was no time for the Pandavas to counteract the brahmāstra of Aśvatthāmā, he took up his weapon even at the risk of breaking his own vow. Although the Battle of Kurukṣetra was almost finished, still according to his vow, he should not have taken up his own weapon. But the emergency was more important than the vow. Very important statement, that the emergency was more important than the vow. He is better known as the bhakta-vatsala or the lover of his devotee. And thus he preferred to continue as bhakta-vatsala than to be a worldly moralist who never breaks his solemn vow. So for Krishna, the foremost principle is the protection and the safety of his devotee. Everything else comes secondary. All is secondary. Antastha sarvabhutanam Atma-yogeshvaro hari sva-mājayā avaranodgarbham vairatya kurutantave antastha sarvabhutanam. Krishna is the super soul who is residing within the antastha, within the heart of all the living entities. And he is Atma-yogeshvaro hari. He is the super soul and he is Yogeshwaraha. He is the Lord of all mystics. Yatra Yogeshwaraha Krishna. Yoga also and Ishvara also. He is the Lord of all mystics. The Lord of supreme mystics, Śrī Kṛṣṇa, resides within everyone's heart as the Paramatma. As such, to protect the progeny of the Kuru dynasty, he covered the embryo of Uttara by his personal energy. Sva-mājayā avaranod garbham. By his personal energy, he covered the embryo of Vairatya. Another name of Uttara is Vairatya. And Kuru Tantave means those who are in the lineage or dynasty of Maharaj Kuru, or the progeny of Maharaj Kuru. The Lord of the Supreme Mystics, Śrī Kṛṣṇa, resides within everyone's heart as the Paramatma. As such, just to protect the progeny of the Kuru dynasty, he covered the embryo of Uttara by his personality. This is the special prerogative of the Supreme Lord, that he can go to any extent to protect his devotees. This vow supersedes all other vows. This vow Krishna gives again and again in Bhagavad-gītā. Yesterday only we were discussing, where Arjuna was inquiring, what happens to one who begins with faith this process of transcendence, but he does not perfect. Due to his unbridled mind, he is deviated, distracted, or he falls down. Kaścin no vibhranta. Whether he does not fails and falls like a riven cloud. And you will see, and Krishna is always giving assurance that under any circumstances, my devotee shall not perish. And where is the evidence? Where is the proof? The proof is in this chapter. This 8th chapter. Here, Srila Goswami is saying that he himself covered the embryo of Uttara by his personal energy. The Lord of Supreme Mysticism can simultaneously reside within everyone's heart or even within the atom by his Paramatma feature. Anyone knows the verse which is there in the Brahma Samhita? You should be studying Brahma Samhita also. How many of you have studied Brahma Samhita? None of you. When you come to PBT, normally in PBT they train to memorize the main shlokas of Bhagavad-gītā. Anyway, you find out. I will not tell you. Find out the verse from Brahma Samhita, which says that he is there in everyone's heart as Paramatma, and also he is there within the nucleus of every atom. Therefore, from within the body of Uttara, he covered the embryo to save Maharaj Parikshit and protect the progeny of Maharaj Kuru, of whom King Pandu was also a descendant. So he's talking about the lineage of Maharaj Kuru. So the child in the womb of Uttara would be the bona fide claimant of this entire kingdom. So he is living it as progeny of Maharaj Kuru, because this is Kuru Vansha. It is coming from Maharaj Kuru. The other day, Sonika said that who is Maharaj Kuru? He was such a powerful personality that he ensured that anyone who left his body in Kurukṣetra would go to the heavenly planets. Very powerful person. So in his lineage came King Pandu, who was to be the king. But because he died immaturely, so Dhritarashtra, who was blind, was not qualified to be the king. Because there was no one else to be the king, he was made the king. And then his unqualified son, his demoniac sons, they wanted to usurp the kingdom. So Krishna, he expanded himself in such a way that he covered the embryo of Uttara Devi to save Maharaj Parikshit, who is the rightful claimant of the dynasty of Kuru, of whom King Pandu was also a descendant. Both the sons of Dhritarashtra and those of Pandu belong to the same dynasty of Maharaj Kuru. That is why the discrimination began from where? From Dhritarashtra. Mamaka Pandavas. He said, my sons and the sons of Pandu. But that is not true. Because in any case, both the sons, Dhritarashtra and Pandu, and their son grandsons, all belong to the same dynasty of Maharaj Kuru. Therefore, both of them were generally known as the Kurus. But when there were differences between the two families, the sons of Dhritarashtra were known as the Kurus, whereas the sons of Pandus were known as the Pandavas. Since the sons and grandsons of Dhritarashtra were all killed in the Battle of Kurukṣetra, the last son of the dynasty is designated as the son of the Kurus. Yadi api astram brahmashiras. Yadi api astram brahmashiras. Vamogam cha pirikirtiyam. Vaishnavam teja asadhya. Samasam yad bhigudvaha. O son of the glory of Bhrigu's family, although the supreme brahmāstra weapon released by Aśvatthāmā was irresistible and without check or counteraction, it was neutralized and foiled when confronted by the strength of Vishnu, Lord Krishna. So the brahmāstra released by Aśvatthāmā could not do any damage, because in counteraction to what was done by Aśvatthāmā, the release of Vishnu Shastra, one of the Vishnu Astram, which confronted the son of Brahmastra, was released. In the Bhagavad-gītā, it is said that the Brahma-jyoti, or the glaring transcendental effulgence, is the resting of Lord Śrī Kṛṣṇa. What should I do? Should I expect you to answer? Or should I leave it like this and move forward? Because none of you answer. Where is Bhagavad-gītā it is mentioned? That the glaring effulgence is the resting place of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Brahma-jyoti, or the glowing transcendental effulgence, is the resting on Lord Śrī Kṛṣṇa. Or in other words, the glowing effulgence known as Brahma Tejas is nothing but the rays of Lord. Just as the sun rays are rays to the sun disk. Where in Bhagavad-gītā it is said that Brahma Jyoti or the glowing transcendental effulgence is resting on Lord Krishna. Dayashil. Okay. What about others? Manoram Prabhu, where Krishna is speaking? That the Brahma Jyoti or the transcendental effulgence is the resting place. And its basis is Lord Śrī Kṛṣṇa. Don't become so absorbed in worldly activities that you have no time to know what Krishna is speaking in Bhagavad-gītā. We have to revise. We have to very sincerely revise every day. Otherwise, it is all getting erased. So, Baba, you have taken so much time to speak. You have not understood Bhagavad-gītā at all. Don't know. Ravinder, why you are shaking your head? If you don't know, you should be knowing. We have studied this chapter more than 2 times. Nothing is there in the heart. What to speak of head? Sonika? See where you stand in the knowledge of Bhagavad-gītā.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, the sloka that Tadhama Parma Mama, that sloka Prabhuji.
Yad gatvana nivartante na tad bhāsate suryo na shashanko na pavaka. See, please understand what the Prabhupada is mentioning here. He is saying that the Brahma Jyoti or the glowing transcendental effulgence is the resting on Lord Śrī Kṛṣṇa. The glowing effulgence known as Brahma Tejas is nothing but the rays of the Lord. Just as the sun rays are the rays of the sun disk. Okay, there shall you speak. You have not heard. You people don't hear. 1 minute.
I don't remember, but it is says that
remember, you have heard
Brahmano hi pratishtaham, Prabhuji. Brahmano hi pratishtaham.
Yes. Brahmano hi pratishtaham amritasya avyayasya. Which chapter is this? Yashir, most of you have no clue of the last 5 chapters, which is the Jnana Yoga. Only a few chapters, little bit you know. 2nd chapter, little bit of 3rd chapter, maybe 7th chapter, not even 8th and 9th chapter. That's all. Bhagavad-gītā is 18 chapters, 700 verses. Which chapter, which verse? Dashil.
Sorry, Prabhuji, don't remember which exact sloka.
See, don't worry, Krishna will also not remember it. Ye yatham mam prapadya. You don't deserve to be remembered. We are proving ourselves that we are not unworthy. That is the 13th chapter. 13th chapter and 2nd last verse. Brahmano hi pratishtha amritasya avyavasya. Anyway, I'll move forward. Devdat, why your video gets off again and again. And yesterday you left the class. You have to go to the institute at
No,
9 in the
Prabhuji.
night.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. No, Prabhuji, I got a call from one of the professors.
You
That's
got
why
up?
I got a call from one of my sir. That's why I got
You
disconnected.
should have
from-
disconnected it. See, your Supreme Personality of Godhead is your employer, not Krishna. What to do?
Sorry, Prabhuji.
This is the problem. I'll tell you, one of the batch which I am teaching. So I, made them study the first 3 chapters. And the other devotee was to take them till the 13th chapter. And my date for resuming the session is from 3rd. So today he was asking me that, Prabhuji, will you start on 3rd? I said, first you have to complete the chapters. I will start from the 13th chapter, but I will only begin when you have completed the first 12 chapters. Then he said, Prabhuji, ऐसा करें, वो बीच वाला chapter बाद में करा दे. I said, don't come to me like this. This is complete disrespect of Bhagavad-gītā. What have you thought of Bhagavad-gītā? That is why Bhagavad-gītā does not appear in the heart. Because our Supreme Personality of Godhead is our mind, our rascal mind. Not Krishna. I told him that forget it, I will not teach. This is clear disrespect of Bhagavad-gītā. Any Tom, Dick and Harry, at 9 o'clock, what business he has to do? Entire life he will remain, what Prabhupada says in 7th chapter, verse number 15 or 16. Read that chapter. Read that verse. Specifically for people like this age. What is that? Avajananti? No. Chaturvidha bhajante mam is those who are sukrita. Namam dushkritano mudha prapadyante narad. Maya pritjnana asvarim bhavamashu. Prabhupada gives an elaborate explanation of what the people in Kali Yuga are. How they come in these 4 categories. That is our situation. Not only one, but all. Everything which is going to degrade, deviate, and distract us, we are running towards it. Embracing it with both arms. But you see, the position of the pure devotees, the Pandavas. So the Brahma weapon also, although materially irresistible, could not surpass the supreme strength of the Lord. The weapon called Brahmāstra, released by Aśvatthāmā, was utilized and foiled by Lord Śrī Kṛṣṇa by his own energy. That is to say, he did not wait for any other's help because he is the absolute. So he neutralized and foiled it. Immediately, as soon as it was released, seeing the imminent danger. Mamamstha hi etat āścaryam sarva-ashcaryamay achyute yaidam mayaya devya srijati avati hanti aja. O Brahmanas, do not think this to be especially wonderful in the activities of the mysterious and infallible personality of Godhead. Ma mamstha hi etat āścaryam. Sarva-ashcaryam may achyuta. What is the greatest Ashcharya? He says Sarva-ashcaryam may achyuta. The greatest wonder is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. There is no greater wonder than the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So the Brahmanas do not think especially wonderful in the activities of the mysterious and infallible personality of Godhead. By his own transcendental energy, he creates, maintains, and annihilates all material things. Srijati is to create. Avati is to maintain, and Hanti is to destroy or annihilate here. Who? Aja. Aja means one who is unborn. The Supreme Lord. So he creates, maintains, and annihilates all material things, although he himself is unborn. The activities of the Lord are always inconceivable to the tiny brain of the living entity. The Prabhupada is making it look so meaningless. That what the conditioned soul can understand about the Supreme Lord. With his tiny brains. Prabhupada did not say tiny. How Prabhupada used to pronounce tiny? Anyone knows? You have heard it?
Tini.
Teeny. Yeah, teeny. Mini. Yeah, it's a mini. Mini means very small. But teeny mini. Teeny mini, when you say, even further, so useless. Insignificant. They have no brain substance. Most of the time, Prabhupada says they have no brain substance. Nothing is impossible for the Supreme Lord. But all his actions are wonderful for us. Thus, he is always beyond the range of our conceivable limits. So, he is inconceivable. Srila Jiva Goswami explains in one of his sandarbhas that unless and until one comes to this realization that the Supreme Lord is inconceivable, he cannot even begin to know about the Supreme Lord. That is achintya. Advaitam, achyutam, anadim, anantarupam is achintya. Yamasham sundaram, achintya, gunaswarupam. Govindam adi purusham, tamahapada. Brahmaji is also saying the same, that he is achintya. He is inconceivable by our teeny mini brains. It is not possible to know the Supreme Lord, the Transcendental Lord, by our material substance. Thus, he is always beyond the range of our conceivable limits. The Lord is all powerful, all perfect personality of Godhead. The Lord is 100% perfect, whereas others, namely Narayan, Brahma, Shiva, the demigods, and all other living beings, possess only different percentages of such perfection. No one is equal to or greater than him. He is unrivaled. Many times we have discussed the percentage. Anyone remembers the percentage of Brahma, Shiva, and Narayan? The Rupa Goswami analyzes the percentage. I will not spoon feed you. If you want to know, then find out. Next verse. Brahma tejo vinirmukte atmaja saha Krishnaya pranaya abhimukham Krishnam idamaha prithasati. Thus saved from the radiation of the brahmāstra. Brahma tejo vinurmuktam. Vinurmuktam. Vinurmuktam means completely being freed or absolved from the Brahma tej, from the brahmāstra weapon. Atmaja sa Krishnaya. Ja means to take birth, and Atmaja means one who is the inheritor or the son is called Atmaja. You've seen many times wedding cards are there in Hindi. So what they write? They don't write the son of so and so. What they write is Atmaja. Atmaja means one who is born from Atma. But Atma cannot give birth. They identify the Atma with the body. The body gives birth to another body. So they write Atmaja. But here, the Pandavas are the Atmaja of Krishna. Or here the other meaning is the Pandavas with all their sons. The Pandavas already lost all the sons, but they had one grandson who was the heir to the kingdom. Kunti Devi, then idam aha pritha sati. Very beautiful. That Pritha is Kunti Devi and Sati is the chaste lady. And Prabhupada says, it makes it even more special here. Chaste lady devoted to the Lord. Chastity is toward this devotion. You know, there are 7 ladies who are called Sati. And Gandhari is not called Sati. Although if you see from the worldly view, she seems to be foremost of a Sati. But she is not. She voluntarily became blind because her husband was blind. But she is not considered Sati. You know this or not? Who knows the answer? Sonika, you know the answer? Yes, माननीय माता जी. बहुत दिनों के बाद आप सुनने आई, आपको भी थोड़ा मौका मिल गया.
हरे
हाँ?
कृष्ण प्रभु जी, दंडवत प्रणाम
संसार
प्रभु
से
जी।
अभी बहुत कुछ प्राप्त कर लीजिए, अभी लगे रहिए संसार में, वहीं से दोहन होगा, वहीं से बहुत प्राप्ति होगी. बहुतों को प्राप्त हुआ है, आपको भी कुछ प्राप्त होगा. तो प्रयास
नहीं
कर.
प्रभु जी,
यानी
सॉरी
करिए.
प्रभु जी।
मुझे क्या सॉरी कर रहे हैं? मेरा क्या जा रहा है? हमारा कुछ थोड़ी जाएगा.
मेरा जा रहा है प्रभु जी।
जा कर रहा है. बोलिए.
प्रभु जी, द्रौपदी, कुंती, तारा, अहल्या, मंदोदरी।
Yes, Mandodari. Mandodari is considered chaste, whereas Gandhari is not considered chaste. If you speak with any modern man, there will be a debate. He will not agree. But there is a reason for that. Why Mandodari is chaste, whereas Gandhari is not considered to be a chaste lady. तब बताना नहीं. अभी इतना बड़ा क्लू दे दिया. बताइए. आप रुकिए ना, अभी रुकिए, इनको विचार तो करने दीजिए ना, विवेक शक्ति का इस्तेमाल तो करने दीजिए. Yes, Sonika, I expect the answer from you.
प्रभु जी, मंदोदरी ने हमेशा ही जो है मतलब इस स्त्रीत्व का पालन किया और साथ में रावण को हमेशा धर्म के मार्ग पे लाने की कोशिश की. मतलब वो अधर्म में कभी भी उनका साथ नहीं मतलब दिया था.
गंधारी देती थी क्या? गंधारी अधर्म में साथ देती थी? That is not the right answer. बोलो माननीय माता जी, ये सब तो विचार में शक्ति है ही.
प्रभु जी, इतने क्लियर से तो पता नहीं है मुझे भी प्रभु जी।
अरे
वही रावण के
ट्रांसलेशन में
प्रति
सब
बहुत
लिखा है.
डेडिकेट।
इस ट्रांसलेशन में
हाँ,
सब लिखा है. वर्ड मीनिंग में ही लिखा है. ऐसा कुछ नहीं पूछ रहा हूँ जो बाहर से कुछ पूछ के आना है पता करना है. सब इधर ही है. प्रभुपाद जी के परपोर्ट में, प्रभुपाद जी के ट्रांसलेशन में, वर्ड मीनिंग में सब कुछ है, लेकिन हम देखते नहीं है. बिकॉज सती मीन्स हु इज डिवोटेड टू द लॉर्ड, who never doubts. Never doubts. Gandhari made a serious doubt. What did she say? That if you desired, this war could have been stopped. And she made Krishna the prime factor for killing of her sons and accused Krishna. And she even cursed Krishna. And she lost. Whatever austerity she did for her husband, it was all washed away. It went down the drain. Whereas when Raman was killed, Mandodari said, my dear Lord, he told Lord Ram that you have given the befitting reply to this demoniac person who did not bend his ways, in spite of being told by so many. So this is the right justice that you have done by killing him. So she is considered to be one of the symbols of chastity. Most important thing is that she must be a pure devotee of the Lord. Then she can become chaste to the husband. If she is not chaste to Krishna, how can she be chaste to anyone else? So Kunti Devi, here Prabhupada is saying that idam aha, Suta Goswami is saying, idam aha pritha sati. Because the focus will now be on pritha sati. The chaste devotee of the Lord, see, the chaste devotee of the Lord, Kunti Devi, and her 5 sons and Draupadi addressed Lord Krishna as he started portraying. Now the chapter unfolds. Kunti is described herein as Sati. Prabhupada speaks about it. Or chaste lady due to her unalloyed devotion to Lord Shri Krishna. This is the foremost quality. Her mind will now be expressed in the following praise for Lord Krishna. A chaste devotee of the Lord does not look to others, namely any other living being or demigod, even for deliverance from danger. That was all along the characteristics of the whole family of the Pandavas. If you contrast the family of the Pandavas in Krishna Lila with the family in Gaur Lila, which one can we compare? समझ में आ रहा है ना क्या बोल रहा हूँ? Who would be the counterpart of the Pandavas in God Lila? ऐसा नहीं है that you are not aware, but you don't know about it. Ravinder is scratching his head. अरे कुछ इंपोर्ट करके नहीं लाना है प्रियंका? Yes, Ramya. Unmute करके.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी श्रीवास ठाकुर के फैमिली.
Yes, perfect. Perfect. The family of Śrīvāstra. There are also 5 brothers. And completely dependent, dedicated, unalloyed devotees. They, na anyam. They never went to anyone else. Whatever happened, their son passed away. You see, Draupadi Devi lost all the 5 sons. Shiva had only one son among all the brothers. He also lost his life. But they never doubted. Anyway, we'll complete this purport. The point is on Kunti Devi. They knew nothing except Krishna, and therefore the Lord was always ready to help them in all respects and in all circumstances. This principle is very, very powerful. Krishna desires, Krishna demands, ananya-bhakti. And what we do, we have many anya who are more important than Krishna. Then this protection will not be there. That is the transcendental nature of the Lord. He reciprocates the dependence of the devotee very clearly. He reciprocates the dependence of the devotee. One should not therefore look for help for imperfect living beings or demigods. The Prabhupada is crying out. But we will never change. We will always be thinking imperfect living beings are more important, are more potent or powerful than the Supreme Lord. But one should look for all help from Lord Krishna, who is competent to save his devotee. Such a chaste devotee also never asks the Lord for help. But the Lord, out of his own accord, is always anxious to render it. From tomorrow, we will come to one of the most sweetest section of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. Very, very nectarine verses of glorification of Lord Krishna with profound realization by Kunti Devi. Hare Krishna. We stop here. If there is any question or doubt, please ask. And please try to memorize these verses. I know many devotees who have memorized the full section of Kunti Devi's prayer. When they recite, the Lord is very happy because these are the prayers of recognized devotees. Yes, Brother Surupo?
Prabhupada write in Purport of text 13, although the Battle of Kurukṣetra was almost over,
Yeah.
Wasn't battle finished by this time?
All were finished because the Kaurava side, led by Aśvatthāmā, was not giving up.
Oh.
He was attacking, and still, he was, he was attempting in a way how to finish off, how it was over. That our Prabhupada is saying, in a way it was over, but the attempt, the mischievous attempt of the Kauravas. Now, who was to lead the Kauravas? There was only one person left, that is Aśvatthāmā. And he was attempting. First, he massacred the young, immature sons of the Pandavas, and now he is trying to kill even the grandson who is in the womb. Now the battle is over. Hare Krishna. Okay, we'll stop here. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai. Śrīla Loknath Goswami ki jai. The Prabhupada ki jai. We will continue tomorrow. Try and remain attentive, otherwise you will miss. And believe me, I don't see any one of you so sincere to be able to study Bhagavatam on your own. Even if you study, how much you will be able to comprehend it, only Krishna knows. Pranav, you are there? No, he is not there today. It's very important that we study in association. If you study in association,